All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about the next huge leap in marketing. And look, it's not just about another social media platform or a new type of digital ad. We're talking about a completely new way of thinking, a framework for a world that's, well, it's more connected by tech and more divided by people than ever. This is Marketing 5.0.
So, what is Marketing 5.0, really? Well, the legendary Philip Kotler and his team define it as applying technologies that mimic humans. Think AI, natural language processing, robotics, you name it. But here's the key. The goal isn't just to automate everything for the sake of it. It's about using this incredible tech to create, communicate, and deliver value in a way that truly enhances the human experience across the entire customer journey.
Okay, so how did we even get here? It's actually a pretty cool evolution. First, you had Marketing 3.0, which was all about being human-centric, focusing on values and purpose. Then came Marketing 4.0, the big digital transformation, moving from traditional to digital. Marketing 5.0? It's the ultimate mashup. It takes the heart of 3.0 and combines it with the brains and power of 4.0's technology. It's really the best of both worlds.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, why is this happening right now? Then we'll tackle two huge challenges, marketing to 5 different generations and navigating a super polarized world. After that, we'll get into the actual Marketing 5.0 playbook, and we'll wrap up by looking at how you can figure out where your own organization stands.
All right, so why now? Why is Marketing 5.0 such a big deal? Honestly, it's not just some fancy theory from a book. It's a direct response to 2 giant, earth-shaking shifts happening at the same time. These shifts are changing the game for literally every single marketer out there.
First up, and this is a big one. For the first time ever in human history, we have 5, count them, 5 different generations all living, working, and buying things side by side. I mean, think about that. Each one has its own unique way of seeing the world, its own values, its own expectations. This isn't just a minor tweak to your strategy, it's a whole new level of complexity.
So, let's dig into that first challenge, marketing to 5 generations. I mean, seriously, how do you create a campaign that speaks to a baby boomer and a member of Gen Z? We're talking about people's entire experience of the world is fundamentally different. It's a huge question.
And here's the lineup. You've got the baby boomers, born between 46 and 64, many of whom are still in leadership roles with significant buying power. Then there's Gen X, the original latchkey kids, known for being independent. After them, the millennials, or Gen Y. And then he hit the new wave, Gen Z, and the up-and-coming Gen Alpha. For them, there's no such thing as online versus offline. It's all just life.
You know, the contrast is just incredible when you put them side by side. Take Gen X and Gen Z. Gen X grew up with the internet's rise. They had to adapt. Gen Z, they're the first true digital natives. They don't know a world without it. Gen X was focused on work-life balance. Gen Z, they're looking for authenticity, for brands that stand for social change. They're not just watching MTV, they're living on TikTok, on Twitch, on everything, all at once. We're not talking about small preference changes here. These are completely different playbooks for how they engage with the world and with brands.
Okay, so as if a 5-generation gap wasn't enough, there's another major challenge shaking things up, this idea of polarization. Society feels like it's being pulled in opposite directions, right? We're seeing it in wealth, in politics, and even in our basic lifestyles. And for marketers, this creates a minefield you have to navigate very carefully.
And you can see this split clear as day just in lifestyle choices. On one end of the spectrum, you've got the minimalist, right? The person saying living with less is freedom. But on the complete opposite end, you have the YOLO, fear of missing out mindset. It's all about experience, consumption, and not being left behind. These aren't just slightly different shoppers, they're driven by totally conflicting philosophies, and they're both out there in your market.
And this polarization has a huge economic impact, which you can see in what's called the M-shaped market. Think about it. The high-end luxury market, it's booming. The low-end value market, also booming. But what's happening to the middle? It's getting hollowed out. It's shrinking. So what does that mean for brands? Well, you can't really be a middle-of-the-road brand anymore. The market is forcing you to choose. Go high or go low.
So, okay, we've got these massive challenges on the table. A world with 5 generations and deep polarizing divides. It kind of makes you wonder, how can anyone possibly market effectively in this environment? Well, that's exactly what the Marketing 5.0 playbook is designed to solve.
Faced with all these challenges, what's the playbook for modern marketers? It's all about using technology in a smarter way,
Not just to be faster, but to be more human. Let's look at the 5 key pieces of this strategy.
Okay, so the whole framework is built on 5 key components. You can think of it in 2 parts. First, there are 2 foundational disciplines, data-driven marketing and agile marketing. These are like the ground rules, and they support 3 powerful applications: predictive, contextual, and augmented marketing. Let's take a quick look at each one.
First, you've got data-driven marketing. This is the absolute foundation, the bedrock. It's about getting rid of the guesswork and the "I think this will work" mentality. Instead, every single decision you make, every ad, every product feature, everything is backed up and optimized by a solid ecosystem of data.
The second discipline is agile marketing. Look, the market moves at the speed of light now, right? An agile approach means your marketing can too. It's all about using small, cross-functional teams that can brainstorm, create, test, and roll out campaigns super fast. You're constantly learning and adapting, not waiting for a 6-month plan to play out.
Now, once you have data and agility in place, you unlock these 3 awesome applications. First is predictive marketing. This is where you use AI to pretty much predict the future, to figure out what's likely to succeed before you even launch. Then there's contextual marketing, which is all about delivering the right message to the right person at the perfect moment, often in a physical space. And finally, augmented marketing. This is about using tech like chatbots and AI assistants not to replace humans, but to make them better, to free them up to do the creative, strategic work that only people can do.
Okay, so that's the theory. But let's bring this back to you. It's one thing to understand the playbook, but it's another thing entirely to actually use it. And the first step is to get a really honest look at where your company is on this whole digital journey.
Now, what's really cool about this is it's basically a tool for you to diagnose your own organization. This is the digital readiness matrix. On one axis, you have your company's digital skills. On the other, you have how digitally savvy your customers are. So where do you fall? Are you in the origin quadrant, where maybe neither you nor your customers are super digital yet, like in parts of healthcare? Or are you way over in the omni quadrant, like finance or high tech, where everything and everyone is digital? Figuring out which box you're in is absolutely crucial for planning your next steps.
And let's be real, the pressure to get to that top right omni quadrant is immense. If there's one thing the last few years have taught us, it's that digitalization isn't a nice to have anymore. The pandemic basically hit the fast forward button, cramming a decade of digital change into about a year. And this quote just nails it. Companies could no longer procrastinate on digitalization when their sustainability depended on it. It's not about getting ahead anymore, it's about staying in the game.
And that brings us right back to the central question, the whole point of technology for humanity. As technology gets smarter and smarter, how do we make sure our marketing stays human? Marketing 5.0 isn't really about adopting more tech. It's about adopting the right tech and using it with wisdom and empathy. So the big question we're all left with isn't if we'll use AI and automation. We will. The real question is, how will we make sure that this incredible technology serves to make us more human, not less? And that, right there, is the heart of Marketing 5.0.